What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in. Max Armand here, your source for all things real estate here in Los Angeles. And a huge topic of conversation in the industry lately is mortgage forbearances, as millions of American homeowners are affected by this pandemic. And in today's video, I'm going to give a deep dive into what a forbearance is, the process if you're thinking about going for one, when you absolutely should not request a forbearance, and how this is all affecting the real estate and mortgage industries moving forward. Let's head over to the computer and get started. What's up, everyone? I am inside the computer. This is the new system that I set up where I'm on green screen display capture with a writing tablet so I can write and type onto the screen directly. It's a cool system. I hope you guys like it. So Mortgage Forbearance 101, simply what is it? It's an agreement to temporarily suspend or reduce your monthly payments for a set period of time. Payments are not forgiven. Borrowers must pay it back. So the key words there are, it's a temporary freeze or suspension of your payments. You do have to pay them back at some point during the course of the loan. Now, ideally, it's moved to the back or spread out across the length of the loan. We'll get to that later. But first, I want to go over when to apply for forbearance, because some people absolutely should, some people absolutely should not. So kind of just a general thing, if you experience total job loss, if you only have 9 to 12 months or less of reserves, meaning that all of your expenses, you could only have 9 months of runway before you're entirely out of money. And you've explored all the other options, some other options being maybe getting a deferment on your car payments, which I shot a video last week about how to do that. If you've explored all these options and are in this situation, absolutely go ahead with forbearance. It's going to be the best thing for you. When to absolutely not apply for it. If you are in a secure financial position and you simply want to keep some money in the bank account even though you have plenty, I liken this to the people that are buying out all the toilet paper at the grocery store. I saw a guy on social media the other day saying that he's going to get a forbearance for his $4,000 a month mortgage payment so he can buy cheap stocks with that money. That is abusing the system, and that is really at the detriment of the borrowers that really need this help from the loan servicers. Because right now, as I'll go over soon, there's only so much money to go around, and there's only so much time that these customer service agents can be helping people. So please do not apply unless you really need it. Okay, that's important. So let's move on to down here where I'm going to show you how loan servicing works and payments. So in a normal time, a homeowner would make their monthly payment. That money would go to the loan servicer, and from there, that money would go to the investors. The investors are the owners of mortgage-backed securities on Wall Street, right? Now, if someone needs a forbearance, let's say they're going to miss 3 months of payments, all right? So if that homeowner does not make 3 months of payments, that means the loan servicer does not get 3 months of payments, but that loan servicer still owes the investors those 3 months. So that loan servicer still has to pay. Now, what is happening right now as hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people are going through forbearance. Now, 4% of all mortgages as of this week have gone into forbearance agreements. It's putting a ton of pressure on these loan servicers. They are experiencing a huge deficit, and their liquidity issues are mounting. And so they, at some point soon, are not going to be able to meet the obligations that they owe to the investors. This is a big problem, and it's not directly acknowledged or directly addressed in the CARES Act and the $2 trillion stimulus, but I think that it must be soon. It's going to have to be addressed. The Fed is buying tens of billions of dollars a week in these MBS securities from the Fed. Okay, so they're helping a little bit here, but not enough to really tide this problem. They're going to need hundreds of billions to keep these loan servicers afloat. Why that's important? Well, if that collapses, it could lead to huge issues in the mortgage industry, and that affects every single one of us. Before we move on, I want to remind you to like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing you more educational, informational, entertaining content on real estate, finance, sports, and more. Thank you for watching, and let's move on. Now, if you're going to pursue a forbearance, and that's going to be the best thing for you and your family, first step is to pick up the phone and call your loan servicer. Now, they're going to give you several options ranging from bad to pretty good. And the worst option by far for you is going to be the balloon payment. And with the balloon payment, they're going to say, you can freeze, you can not pay these 3 months, but come month 4, you're going to have to pay us in full, right? We'll freeze it, and if you owed $3,000 a month, you can not pay that $9,000 for 3 months, but month 4 you're going to pay the full $12,000. This is absolutely not realistic for so many families out there. If you were able to come up with the bulk payment in month 4, chances are you didn't need the forbearance in the first place. So a lot of people that get this option it's not going to help them. They should not accept it. You should fight back against it. Now, why are loan servicers going to push this? Because they are for-profit companies. They are struggling. They're feeling the pressure here of all these other people not paying. And at the end of the day, they hope that you're going to pay them back in full as soon as possible. So that's going to be the first thing they offer you. Don't accept it. Push for one of these other options. Now, what are the other options? One is a repayment plan, and this is actually going to be a good option where you pay within the term of your loan. Let's say you miss 3 months. They'll say, okay, well, over the course of the next few years, we'll spread out those missed payments into much smaller little payments. Let's say you're behind by $9,000 on your mortgage. Let's have you pay $300 extra a month for the next 2.5 years to repay us this debt. That's a decent option for you, okay? The next one is going to be a refinance where you actually refinance the whole loan. This will work if you have a lot of equity, right? Let's say you've been paying down your mortgage for 15 or 20 years and you owe very little on it. You're going to be able to refinance out to a 20 or 30 year loan and get a lower payment and maybe even get a cash out. The problem with that is if you've lost your income, you're not going to qualify for a new loan. So this is going to be really tough because you have to get approved. And that could, if you are in financial hardship, that could be a really hard thing to do right now. Now, the best option, and it's probably the rarest and the hardest to get, is add to the back end of the loan, where if you miss these 3 payments right now, let's just put those out, 10 years. Let's move those out to the very back end, and you pay for the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, whatever it is, and then those payments are at the back. If you sell your house at any point in this process, then these are just going to get paid off during the sale of the house, right? So that's a great option, but I have not heard a single person who has actually gotten a bank to approve this move to the back end. So if you know anybody that has, let me know. So now that you've decided that you want to go for a forbearance, you know the strategy you're going to come in with and the questions that you're going to ask. Next thing is to contact your loan servicer. I bank with Wells Fargo, and actually on my mortgage payment page, there's a link for homeowners that want to go through forbearance. I actually click through that link and it brings you to a page where you fill in some information and they mail you the packet within 7 to 10 business days. At that point, I guarantee you're still going to need to pick up and talk to somebody on the loan servicing side. Now, the first thing that you're going to do is ask about the options, and this is exactly what we were going with before. Refuse the balloon payment, request ideally the back end. You can settle on a payment plan. I think that's a great option too. And if possible, do a refi. But again, like we said, a refi is going to come with a whole new loan application. And if you have lost your job, you're not going to get approved for a refinance, okay? The important thing here is request everything in writing. What this person tells you over the phone is going to change from one day to the next. The regulations and the offers change from one day to the next. When they pick up the phone, they're going to tell you, we're talking on a recorded line. Tell them right back, you know what, I'm on a recorded line as well. I would love to hear what you guys have to offer today. Request everything in writing. If they agree to something, ask them to send you an email and make sure that you have all of this documented, okay? Send them follow-up emails if you can, summarizing conversations. Make sure if they give you an offer for one of these back-end offers that you immediately follow up with an email and get that in writing. These banks are dealing with a ton of requests right now, and a lot of the customer service people aren't even caught up with what it is that they can legally do or really offer you. So you are only going to put yourself in a better position if you are documenting everything, getting everything in writing, and assuring that any offer that you are given is going to actually stick when the time comes at the end of your forbearance period. Thanks for watching, guys. This is a really important video. We're all going through this tough time together, and if this content helped just one person in their time of need kind of figure out what to do to get through this, then I consider it a job well done. If you or anyone you know has questions about real estate, you know where to find me. Until then, I'll see you on the next video.